Hey guys, welcome to week 8 of the Goofy Race and a Half Challenge training plan. We are 85 days to Walt Disney World Marathon weekend, and I want to say like 16 days to Wine and Dine. I'm headed down there in a few weeks for a couple weeks for the half marathon down there. This week I'm going to be spending some time talking about why I run. I was tagged by Susie over at I Run Things, and just to talk about why I run, and I talk about this throughout the last few years, but really want to kind of draw in and draw attention to that a little bit this week. So welcome, and let's have a great week. Big week for running. I had a 3-mile run this morning, which wasn't fantastic, but it wasn't horrible either. Just kind of checked the box. My heart rate was all over the place, and I just kind of cut it short. Wednesday, I have a 6-mile run with hills. Friday, I have a 7-mile run. On Saturday, I have a 3-hour or 15 miles. And in the middle of that, I will be doing some tempo miles. So 5 to 7, at least an hour of tempo running as well. So it's gonna be a good push. I'm kind of excited about this week because there is so much strength work. So I'm just gonna keep building on that. So welcome to the week. Let's get started. Hey guys, I'm out for a 30-minute walk this afternoon. What do you think? You like the hair? New color, a little bit of a new cut. Kind of love it. Okay, I want to start exploring this why I run concept. And I think the question can be multifaceted if we look at it the proper way, right? What is the historical significance for you of running? How did you get started? Why did you get started? What made you start running? The other thing I find significant is that you can take it from a present to future. Why are you running now? Why do you keep running? Why do you keep going out there and doing that? What makes you tick as a runner? And I think both are valuable. And I kind of want to explore both sides of that this week with the idea that just like runners evolve, we evolve in our goals, we evolve in what we want as a runner, what we need as a runner. And I think it's important for us to notice that even the why as a runner evolves. There was a why that got us started, and now maybe that why has changed. I know it has for me, and I'm going to explore that a little bit this week. Wednesday morning, out for a 6-mile run with some hills. So I'm going to dig it into this historical perspective of why I run here. Really, if you want to get the best story, I did this a couple of years ago, and it's this video right here, the day I became a runner. That's really the beginning of the running story. But before that, I wasn't a runner. I was a triathlete. The beginning of my athletic journey, I was a triathlete, and running was part of it. Never enjoyed it for a long time. As far as triathlon was concerned, it was the sport for which I was least prepared. I always enjoyed swimming and cycling more, and so when I got to the run, I just didn't want to do it. So running wasn't my favorite at that time, and this was about 15 years ago. But like I said earlier this week, things evolve.
And it was after I had my son that my life just completely turned upside down. My husband had moved out, we were separated, and I had that day that I became a runner. Just decided one day to start running, and it felt so good. And what started is just like this emotional release one morning. I just needed to get my yayas out, you guys. But that first day where I feel like I got something out of it, that changed everything. Back in 2008, running was that thing that centered me, that realigned me emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And it was something that I needed. And really for the following few years, whenever there was stress, whenever there was emotional upheaval, I'd go for a run. So out of that emotional coping strategy, that way that I could keep myself sane, really, through a very tumultuous time in my life, it became a way for me to push myself. Because once I started pushing myself in my running, I realized that's their final leg. I mean, I knew that, but it's the final leg in triathlon. You start developing that running speed and strength, and you can perform better. So after that, I did get better at running, and I pushed myself running, and I was starting to PR in my triathlons. My run leg was pushing me over the top. I was getting stronger on the bike. So it became a way to push out the physical boundaries. Out of that emotional and mental coping strategy, it became a way to push out my comfort zone physically. I do have 6 hills. So zone 4, 6 times, 45 to 60 seconds. As hard as you can up the hill, turn around, walk or jog back down. So you might ask, why hills? You're training for a Goofy Race and a Half Challenge. Those courses are flat, super flat, at low altitude in Florida. Why hills? Well, it's not about training for hills on a race course, although it does help. Training on hills helps develop that strength in your glutes and quads and core, those driving muscles that just push you forward. Training on hills basically adds resistance. So that's why I will occasionally add in hills. If I were training for a hilly course, I would be adding far more hill workouts. All right, as I cool down for this run, out of that coping strategy that pushed me physically and showed me that I was capable of more and more and more, I was beginning to invest in myself in a way that I never had before. And it was that investment that kind of opened my eyes. It allowed me to see that I was important. And especially at a time when I didn't feel important. That not only was I important, but taking care of myself was important in order for me to take care of my family. Morning, everyone. Friday morning, out for 7 miles or 1 hour and 24 minutes. It's cool enough, but I'm comfortable in a short sleeve shirt. Just trying to keep my heart rate under control today. I don't know, it's just been a rough week for my training as far as the heart rate conditioning goes. Beautiful sunrise. Gonna be another beautiful day. So as I've been talking about this week with the why I run, when I'm done with my run, I can effectively manage my day. And by that I don't mean like, okay, I'm gonna go through my day and I'm gonna get boxes checked and I'm gonna do work effectively. That's a part of it. But it allows me to just let go of just some of the crap that builds up over time. This is also my alone time. I am very much an introvert. I will work out at home rather than go to the gym. I will run by myself rather than run with people. It's not to say I don't enjoy races, going to see you guys at Run Disney. It's not that at all. On a regular day-to-day basis, I need this. This is how I recharge. And as I started a while back, it was a way to push myself. But now, how I push myself looks different, okay? It looks different now than it did 10 years ago. Pushing myself 10 years ago was to greater distance, hopefully faster, but mostly to greater distance, and doing really big things. Now, the big things look different, like trying to figure out a gimbal while I'm running. I'm still working on that. But the big things look like, okay, maybe I can try to PR, but what if I found a way to run injury-free? Why I keep running is that I still want this emotional outlet, this emotional piece, this recharge, reset, alone time. I want this for the rest of my life. I want to be able to say, you know what? I need to go for a run. And then be able to go do it.
That is definitely a thing this morning. Saturday morning, time for a long run. 3 hours or 15 miles. It's gonna be 3 hours. This one has some marathon race pace miles in it, and I didn't quite know how I was gonna set those marathon race pace miles. Basically, all I'm doing for this one is I'm doing a nice long warm up, 48 minutes, and then an hour and 24 minutes between 11:30 and 12:30 pace. It's faster than my zone 1 pace, pretty much faster than my zone 2 pace, but it shouldn't be so fast that I can't sustain it for 7-ish miles. And then a nice long 48-minute run, 48-minute cool down. I am not bringing the camera today. I'm not bringing the gimbal. I can't use it until the sun comes up anyway. There's at least 2 hours before that happens. So I'm just gonna leave it at home and really concentrate on my running. Today I'm bringing Tailwind, which up until now I've been bringing Noon Endurance. But I'm gonna bring the Tailwind today and see how that feels too. I'm experimenting with long run fueling. It's been a long time since I've run this long. So I have to really start dialing in my nutrition on the run. We'll see how it feels, see how it goes. And I will check in with you before I close it out this week. But first, coffee. Oh, yeah. Actually, okay, I just did probably the best run of this entire training cycle. 3 hours or 15 miles. I got pretty dang close to 15 miles. In fact, I almost hit 14 miles by the time I hit the 3 hours. Fantastic feeling run. Everything felt right. It felt perfect. It was the perfect weather. I had my clothes and gear dialed in. My nutrition was absolutely on point. I explored a new section of trail that I hadn't seen before. And honestly, I feel really, really good about this run. I recovered well. As always, the last 20 minutes of any run kind of feels hard, but I expect that. But I am gonna get this video done so I can get it out to you guys on time tomorrow. Great run today. It's all good. I ran today. Okay guys, as I close it out this week, I want to give you a couple of final thoughts as to why I run. Like I said, running's an evolution, isn't it? The why can be an evolution in and of itself. As we are novice runners, we evolve into intermediate and advanced runners, and maybe we go for longer distances, maybe we go for better times, maybe it's all of those things and more. And when I started running as a single mom, I had some obstacles to work around. So I would bring my son with me in the jog stroller, and he, for his entire life, has been watching me take care of myself in this way. When he was 6 years old, I finished Ironman, and he watched me go through that whole training cycle. He hasn't been at a lot of finish lines. He's run with me on several occasions. He's run a bunch of 5Ks, a couple of 10Ks, and even some triathlons. So he's investing in himself too. And now he's on the cross-country team. And this is something I've never pushed him to do. That was all his idea. And I do believe that he came to that all on his own. He got no pushing from me. That was inspired by what he saw me doing and the joy that we had running together. And so I keep running. And on those days when I just don't want to run for myself, I know there's someone watching me, and I'm going to run for him. And guys, even without the channel or the podcast or anything like that, I know someone's out there watching me and paying very close attention, whether he realizes it or not. He's paying attention to what I'm doing, and he's watching me take care of myself. Guys, I've never run for the bling or the t-shirt. This is just something I want to do and something I need. And I love running. So I am going to tag Meredith Rice over at Rice Runner. Why do you run, my dear? I want to hear about it. Check out her channel. I'm leaving a link to that in the description below. Guys, this was a great week of training, and I actually got all of the cross training in. I didn't show you any of that, but I got the cross training in. I got all my walks in. I got my foam rolling, my stretching, and I feel really good after this week. Total miles on the week, 28.4 with 6 hours and 41 minutes, including, and that does not include the 5 miles of extra walks that I did. So feeling really good about my training. So I am going to close it out this week. We are 79 days as of right now to the Walt Disney World Marathon weekend. And we are at the end of block 2 for my training plan. So check out the blog. This coming week, I will have block 3 coming up. And I believe that starts the last week of October, Halloween week. My question for you today is this: why do you run? Please leave thoughts, questions, comments, and suggestions in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that thumbs up if you like this video. Guys, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Until then, go find your awesome, and happy running.